Well,
Old Testament Survey 2, Lecture 5, Part B. And we'll finish right here. We'll just go all the way through if we can. Are you man or woman enough? Well, online students know how far we go, so we'll see. Esther 1:1. Excuse me. I have a Sunday morning issue there. Hopefully tomorrow I can not have that issue. Amen?
Amen.
Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even in 180 days, he's showing off his province to these folks. It's kind of like what they do in China, and they march their military down the streets. King Trump wanted to do that also, I think. Verse 9, also Vashti, the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was very merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and how to be called Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, he charged all of them, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. Red text. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So we'll just stop there for a brief comment before we read on. Do you think that she was wrong for doing that?
Yeah.
So the king is ordering the queen basically to come before the group of men to show off her beauty. Now what happens if Vashti was a born-again Christian, very godly woman, and thought of this as inappropriate? Then what?
Tell them.
She shouldn't have to show off her beauty.
Yeah,
So she shouldn't have to, yeah.
right.
So, or maybe she shouldn't have taken the queen job. But anyways, I look at this, there's 2 ways to look at it. Almost everyone looks at it, she was a horrible woman and all this. I know of one missionary to Indonesia that named one of his daughters Vashti. So go and figure that one out. And that's what he had said. He explained this whole thing.
all these people were probably drunk and
Well, yeah, it was inappropriate what he was asking her to do.
Yep.
He thought, and he is actually so fond of what Vashti did here, he named his daughter after her. So it's very interesting. I was like, wow. Verse 19, someone read that section.
If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment for him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king and the princess, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all of the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people.
Amen. Every man should bear rule in his own house. Amen, men?
Amen.
Bear the rule. Women, submit to your husbands. Okay, having some fun there. Hi. Hi, everybody. Red text. Yeah. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. It's like, oh, shoot. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. So that was just quoting what was stated already, but know that for a test, which Ahasuerus it is. Black text. I wrote, showing off your country's prowess for half a year. That's a bit excessive. spent a whole 6 months showing all this off to these guys. What a megalomaniac. Was it wise to do this? Putting fear in the hearts of the neighboring enemies, maybe? Look at all we've got. Did Vashti actually sin here, or was she sticking by godly convictions? Was she not wanting to show off her beauty, but, should say, would rather be hidden and humble? Or was she a rebel spirit that didn't want to do anything her husband the king wanted? That's the way the king looked at it.
Yep.
Hollywood actresses don't seem to mind being in the spotlight for their beauty. Is it okay to name your daughter Vashti? A missionary I know did that, yeah. Would to God that it was made a decree throughout America that all wives should give to their husbands honor, and that men should bear rule in their own houses, and as a rule, punishable to the full extent of the law if broken. Do we have a problem in America with this?
Yeah.
Amen. That sounds good. That's a good idea.
Okay, brother, he says it's a good idea. Make it a law. Go into jail if you don't follow along. Red text, Vashti was
my law.
deposed from being queen, and a new queen was searched for, which would end up being Esther.
I have a question though.
Sir,
Is this the same king who stopped the building of the, was it the wall or something, or the
I
house?
believe it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Same guy, yeah, I do believe so.
Yeah.
All right. So chapter 2, verse 2, someone read that through 6.
Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the maiden which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. And in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away.
Okay. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither a father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. And when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Wow. Someone have fun with a couple of these names in here, 14 through 15.
In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned. The second house of the women to the custody of Shahrazgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept concubines. She came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now in the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, king of Mordecai, the uncle of Mordecai, or taken for his daughter, was come to go into the king. She required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, appointed, and Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them who looked upon her.
Someone finish, 16 to the end.
So Esther was taken into the king of Ahasuerus, into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Esther had not yet showed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him.
Okay, so as we know, Esther is a very godly woman. Mordecai, very godly man. So look up here and think about this. Was it right? Does it seem a little weird here that so this godly woman's going into the king's palace and he loves her? What's going on there? We don't know, but what do you think is going on there when these women, these virgin women who get themselves ready for a whole year to go spend one evening or night even with the king? What do you think is going on? Intimacy.
Yeah.
So I don't believe it happened with Esther though, because it doesn't match up with what type of woman she is. and God doesn't rebuke you here for that. So I don't think it happened, and so that's just so you know. But let's go on here. Red text: Mordecai. Mordecai was Esther's uncle, who took over raising her when her parents had died. Just to summarize there. Black text. In general, would this be a good and godly thing for a Christian woman to do? What? Seeing if you could be chosen to be the most beautiful virgin and then be the one that gets to be become the vice president. And actually, I'll add to that, and it has to go in, though, to spend evening or even the whole night with the president. Okay, doesn't sound good at all. Esther was positioned here by God, so God was in charge of all this. So be it. To save the Jews. That's what the point of all this is going to be. Esther's Jewish name, by the way, was Hadassah. I thought of naming my daughter when we found out, well, if it was a girl, and then we found out it was a girl. The top two names were Amethyst and Hadassah. We chose Amethyst, of course. Hadassah. I've met a few named Hadassah. She was a niece of Mordecai and became his child when her parents both were dead. Esther had a natural beauty that really didn't need much work. Have you ever seen someone like that? Don't say anything, actually. But some women, just because of how you expect them to look, in America at least, they don't seem to need anything. I don't know. That's up to the person who's looking at them. There's some that are just that way. Maybe they have darker eyelashes than other people. That's some of the things that women bring out, right? Or maybe redder lips. Red lips? I don't know. Whatever. Just those things that women bring out. You know what I mean?
Enhance.
Enhance, yeah. And enhance it. Guys typically don't wear eyeliner, eyeshadow, or lipstick. Unless you live in an LGBTQIRSP, LZB, whatever it is, state like California. San Francisco, yeah. Going on, red text, each virgin queen candidate purified their bodies for 12 months prior to meeting with the king. Man, what was wrong with their bodies? What in the world is wrong with them? Some horrible psoriasis going on?
Wanted to make sure there wasn't anything wrong with it.
Bed bugs all taken care of? Little creepy crawlies are all out of, I guess so.
All the blackheads out? Yeah, okay.
I think a day or two, I mean, just take a shower and bathe and put on some deodorant and I think you're good to go. I don't know. Man, 12 months, so this is a big deal. You come before the king, I don't think it's just to have some tea and crumpets. Alright. Was it all for outward beauty? I guess so. There's Mary Kay, who I thought was a guy in drag there. I'm sorry.
She died.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I don't know anything about her. I just, the look there almost.
Is she? I didn't know that.
I mean, if you're a Mary Kay fan, I'm sorry. I just, the look there. Anyway, she's probably about 80 years old there. Looks. I mean, if she's 80 there, it looks awesome for 80, huh?
Yeah.
Probably it was photoshopped. But I thought it was, when I first saw it, I thought it was a guy in drag. Going on, before I get fired, black text, the reason of this purification seems not to be apprehended by any writer I have seen, said Adam Clark. Now we know that those who feed on coarse, strong food, which is not easily digested, have generally a copious perspiration. What in the world? Copious perspiration, which is strongly odorous, and in many, though in every respect amiable, and even beautiful, this odor is far from being pleasant. Man, a long ways to go on something that I think is ridiculous to even say. That's just telling you that this is like one of the great Bible commentarians. Says it's due to, she had an excess perspiration problem that kind of smelled. I would just say this, just getting her skin in good shape. What did she use? What do these people use? It says in the Bible, up there in verse 12, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and that is for the skin and hair, and 6 months with sweet odors. Man, how much sweet odors you got to put on yourself?
It's a woman. You know,
So, anyways, she smelled good,
Jealous.
and her skin was good.
Somebody gonna get hurt.
But 6 months of each, I don't know, these ladies must have been pretty rough. You know, like they have the ultimate makeover type shows.
You've been out in the
you
desert.
know,
Yeah, it's like they drag them on in there. They got hair all over their faces.
You know that's
It's gonna take a year to get this gal ready.
you know it's a fire hazard, right?
Yeah, that's right. They gotta spray them down, biohazard and everything. So they're already good, probably good looking to begin with. Why would they choose them? Why'd they choose the thing that looks like a walrus over there? It's like the hair growing out, tusk and going. Ah!
Well-
All right, it's gonna take a year on this one.
But what's
You
their
ready to go?
what's their standard?
I'm gonna start walking out.
Okay, going on quickly before I lose everybody that there could ever be, because of I'm just joking. And I'm not talking about you all here or online students. Just what is the deal with this? Matthew Henry, what did he say? Well, hold on a second. Did Esther commit fornication with the king? Bible Knowledge Commentary says the women were being prepared to have sexual relations with the king. This is suggested by the words in the evening she would go there and in the morning return. So I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think she did. But it makes you wonder. Matthew Henry said after the king had once taken them to his bed, they were made recluses ever after, except the king pleased at any time to send for them, come back for relations. It wasn't to have tea and crumpets. I don't think.
Horrible life.
What's that?
I said, what a horrible life
Yeah.
for women.
Life of prostitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're taken care of though for the rest of their life.
Well, you gotta go back somewhere, so evidently they got room and board.
These are concubines, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a horrible life.
And then Bible Expert Warren Wiersbe says, each night a new maiden was brought to the king, and in the morning she was sent to the house of the concubines. There it is.
Yep.
Never again to be with the king unless he remembered her and called for her. Such unbridled sensuality eventually would have so bored Ahasuerus that he was probably unable to distinguish one maiden from another. This was not love, it was faceless, anonymous lust. What was that? There's that one. What was her name? It was about 30, 40 days ago. It's ridiculous. Red text. I personally believe, Dave Warner, believe that Esther did not commit fornication, though the king probably had relations with all the others. But since Esther was so amazingly beautiful to him, he would do whatever she wanted, which most likely was to not engage in sin. Black text. So I assume they chatted and then shook hands and went back to her home.
Okay.
Well, I don't believe she was intimate with him. That's me. I just think God would have said something about that if it was that's the case. Okay, let's see about some things here. What things are we going to see about? A short break. That's what we're going to see about. We'll take a short break. That's okay. If it isn't,